Hi, you're on the road with Larry. This morning I'm with Rick Turner of Renaissance Guitars. Hi, Rick.
Good morning.
So you've been building guitars for a long time.
Yes.
When you were a kid, were you handy?
Yes, I was. I made models. I actually remember my first invention. I was about no more than 6 years old, and I was cutting up paper to make whatever I was making. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if you just had a little trapdoor in the center of your desk, and you flipped it up, and you just shoved all the waste paper in, and it went down in the waste paper basket, and you covered it up. That was my first invention. I was 6 or something like that. But making things by hand was just a normal part of my environment. My dad was an artist, and he had a workshop in the basement. And my mother had started off her career as a fashion designer and sewed things. So this whole idea of just making things was normal in the home. And I grew up in a town where there were still very active boat yards. And I loved hanging out in the boat yards and scrambling around underneath the boats that were up in the yard in the winter time, and smelling the sawdust of the mahogany being cut in the wood shop and so on. And so it was just an environment where making things, whatever you needed to make, you just did it. A very good friend of my dad's was a decoy carver, Captain Gerald Smith, and he was a third generation off to sea when he was a teenager guy. Very traditional New England, with a little wood shop in the backyard with a pot-bellied stove and the smell of pine chips as he was carving the decoys. Another friend of my dad's made miniature, that is to say, about so big, brass cannons. And I don't think he cast them. I think he took, brass cylinder stock, bored them out. He was a machinist, and he made these beautiful black powder cannons, one of which my sister still has. It was the thing that got fired off on the 4th of July. My dad would stuff it with black powder and put some wads of toilet paper in it, torch it off, and the neighborhood knew we were there. So it was really something. So I grew up in an environment where making things was normal. And also when I went off to boarding school, my track coach was the woodshop teacher. And although they didn't teach woodshop in my grades, Mr. Howe let me have the run of the shop. It was this beautiful old sort of craftsman style building with this fantastic old tools in it. And it was great. It was really great. So for me, working with my hands is something that I don't remember a time when I didn't work with my hands. I'll put it that way. And tremendous encouragement from my parents to do so.
Well, that's great. You're on the road with Larry and Rick Turner.